Well, hello everyone. This is what you have been waiting for. 13 long weeks, and we are finally here, Calamity. We are in the championship final, and, well, who would have thunk it's a repeat from last season?
Yeah, it's not the most surprising, especially if you look at that a lot of the people generally who've won have either or not even won, but reached the finals, reached the semifinals, have either dropped out or, kind of lost motivations a bit. Like if you look all the way back to season one, we had Topodic against Simi. Simi kind of lost motivation this season.
Mhm.
Season two, we had Raidman against Simi again. Um, Same story there. Simi lost motivation. Raidman's here again for his third final in a row because last season's was Raidman against BOKSA as well. We did think at the start of the season that maybe we'd see one of the newcomers, Blinky, maybe enter that final, but he fell short in the semi-final against BOKSA. So we're here again for a repeat, and we'll see if BOKSA can take the crown this time to ensure that we don't get any repeat winners from last season.
Yeah, so either way, we've got an interesting storyline for you here. Raidman, a repeat, the first one ever to do it if he was to pick up his win today, or Boxa would be kind of continuing the story and making sure we have a new winner every season, unthroning Raidman from last time. Yeah, two Frenchmen gave them the challenge. Blinky not quite up to the task against Boxa. Orpheus really having a rough time of it against Raidman, and so we get a repeat. And we'll take a look at their map picks because it is a best of three here. And we can see that it is Germany again for Boxa Calamity, but Raidman switching it up. 2 seasons of Singapore is enough for him.
Yeah, exactly. Don't really know why he thought he needed to switch it up. He did win it last time as well. Maybe he thought that Lower Silesia might be a bit more difficult for Boxer.
Mm.
But I don't think it's much more of a difficult map. It's definitely bigger, but just in terms of signage, it's as good as Singapore in my opinion, and it's much less dense. So as long as you know sort of the right area where you are, then you're probably going to find the right place. It might be a bit harder to pinpoint because generally Singapore, very dense, a lot of like intersections where you can maybe uh, judge where you have to pinpoint exactly. Lots of houses. Lower Silesia might have a few more straights and longer roads where you have less information, less points of reference. So maybe I think Raymond always picked Singapore as kind of like I'm very good at pinpointing, so let's do that
Mm.
thing. And I think in that regard, Lower Silesia might be a bit more fitting, not only because it's probably his home. What is it in Poland? Is it a province? Is it a state? Is it a region? I don't know. His home area.
Mhm.
But yeah, just for that reason as well. And Boxer, yeah, going with Germany again, it makes sense. He won it last season. He probably has a decent chance of winning it again this season. It's, again, not the most difficult map, but you can just end up in a very suburban area of some of the bigger cities. So if he feels confident about that, then it's probably a good choice as well.
Yeah, and as always, AI generated world map is our decider map, map 3, and yes, it is can really anything goes in that final one, and it can come down to a few meters, or it could come down to a horrible location, and neither one of them finds and a lucky guess. Never quite sure about that. Every final to date has gone to a third map, so pretty sure we should expect that our two players will win their map picks, as has happened in every final up until now as well. And we'll go to an AR world, but you never know. We can see what happens. It'd always be nice to have a different storyline for season 4 here. It's interesting that you mentioned that Raidman might think that Lower Silesia is a bit of a pinpoint kind of home ground for him, given that Boxa actually outdid him in his aces. As we take a look at their stats over the regular season now, Boxa 35 aces with Raidman's 33, Calamity.
Well, yes, he outdid him by two. Um,
Hey, that's
which
outdoing.
yeah, sure. I don't think it's gonna have much of an influence in their map picks though. Um, but yeah, definitely you can't just assume that because you're good at pinpointing that Boxer won't also be able to pinpoint it. But it's still it's worked so far for Raidman, that strategy. So yeah, I think it's reasonable. I'm still kind of waiting for someone in a final to pick like a difficult map. I don't think we've had that so far. I think all the way back in season 1, I don't remember. Like I think I remember Simi picked Czechia and Europe once each. I
Yeah,
don't
he picked
remember what Topodik
Europe in
picked.
season 2. I don't remember Topodics.
Yeah.
Going back a couple years now, but yeah, the players seem to like to pick maps where they can perform. Like, yes,
Mm,
maybe my opponent can get a 25k on this also, but at least I know I will. And that is more
yep.
important than giving them a disadvantage. It's just making sure I can perfect a map to
Mm.
give myself the best chance to win. So we'll definitely see in this season if that will be true as well for them. Yeah, nothing else to say other than let's get into it. And best of luck to our two competitors as we see how they do. And we'll jump into round number 1 of game number 1 in BOKSA's map pick of Germany. Here we go. And at least we get a small little town at the start here.
Well, it's probably not a small little town. There are no small little towns covered in Street View in Germany.
That is true.
But it's not. It's not in the center of a big town. I'll give you that much.
Well, there it is on the sign for BOKSA
Yeah.
Leipzig.
Yep. Not exactly a small town.
Did try to test my German pronunciation, which I haven't used in years. See how badly I butcher it, and you make fun of me the whole way. Yep. Leipzig.
Leipzig. Yeah, they've got street names here, and kind of looks like they might be in sort of an industrial area of Leipzig. So they might want to just look at the map, try and see if they can figure it out.
There you go. Full address
there we go.
For Raidman.
Bullitz Ehrenberg. That is pretty safe to assume. You know, in these kind of signs, it's either like the suburb they're currently in, or it's just, you know, the town the company is in might be pretty close, might be far away.
They are heading off in slightly different directions. BOKSA going kind of northwest. Raidman a bit east. He does put himself on the western half of the city, at least initially. There we go. BOKSA already zooming in on the right location. And yep, you were right. That neighborhood gives it away for both of them. And now we're down to the streets. There they are. How about that?
Yeah, they've got a minute and 24 left. Should be easy for both of them to pinpoint that. But yeah, you can never really fully trust some of those advertisement signs. They're usually like building companies or things like that. And well, most of the time, you know, you hire like local companies to build your houses. But sometimes you don't. And I recently realized on my way to work that there was a sign close to me, a similar sign to that had 3 cities on them. I think it was Munich, Passau, and something like Innsbruck, which are all 3 pretty far away from where I am.
Not even in the same country, so.
2 of them, yeah. But they never fully trust them. But I think Raidman, I don't remember, one of the 2 saw the name twice. So at that point, you can be pretty sure. And I mean, even if you only see it once, it can't hurt to just go check on the map maybe for like at least 20, 30 seconds. Maybe you can find it.
Yeah, their pins are both in the same location with 25 seconds left. It's just, again, this is the final. They're not going to rush a whole lot. Make sure they get that 25k. And don't forget, distance is the tiebreaker. So Raidman getting that 1 meter away for his ace. And we'll see how BOKSA does with his. He's going to use every second of this to pinpoint.
Yep.
He'll ret time right out. And 0 meters, what do you know? Every second does help him. He wins by a meter. Calamity in round 1.
Advantage BOKSA.
Advantage BOKSA. But again, lots of good signs, and being that we're going to be in big cities in Germany, kind of to be expected in the next coming rounds as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's not going to be a location out in the middle of nowhere where you're not going to find information for 3 minutes. It'll just come down to probably who can get closer, or if we get one location that's a bit more difficult to pinpoint maybe, then we'll see who's going to be better at that.
Well, let's jump into round number 2, and here we go. On the highway for this one. So we're probably just outside of a city. And what do you know, just the northeast. Dortmund, Essen.
Yeah.
So the Ruhrgebiet.
Yeah. Another tip, I think I've mentioned that last season as well in the final when commentating Germany, but yeah, the first two letters you see there with the dash behind them, those signify the city you're in. So in this case, Bochum. And there you go, right? And then there's a sign for Bochum.
There we go. So even if you didn't know, doesn't get much easier than that.
Yeah, the most important part of that sign isn't Bochum, though. The most important part is the suburb that's mentioned below it, which is Linden. So we'll see if they can find it.
They are just to the kind of southeast of Bochum and heading into the city. Northwest. Oh yeah,
southwest.
they are heading north. They are heading northeast, southwest of it. That's why I don't get enough aces. Slightly turned around there. Raidman already got that street. Now it's just a matter of time working his way back in. BOKSA not too far behind.
Yeah, this is definitely a bit more difficult to pinpoint than the first round because you don't have an immediate reference point next to you. They do have that small intersection that BOKSA is currently looking at. But a little bit more of a challenge.
Raidman looking off in the bushes, trying to see what road might be relatively close, and he does jump to that. That's a pretty good click. Find out what that building is and then reference it on the map. And there is a school there.
Yep.
And you can see that. Yeah, this area is pretty standard, though, for Germany. If you're playing Germany in Geoguessr, you have to know this area. That's where like 90% of the coverage is. So you're going to be in this area quite a bit. And 9 meters for BOKSA on this one. As he does get an ace nonetheless, though. And let's see if Raidman's little move with the pool will give him any advantage. He's trying to judge some angles here. 30 seconds left to do that. This throw. Wuppertalerstrasse?
Sort of, yeah.
Interesting name. 2 meters for Raidman. He'll take the advantage now on meters after 2 perfect rounds for Buffsum. 3 total meters off for Raidman, but 9 for BOKSA. It's a pretty far guess when you think about it like that, Calamity.
I guess so, yeah. Although 9 meters is still pretty close, but if you're up against Raidman, you can't really afford to lose any meters, apparently. Definitely, he took more things into account in pinpointing there. He looked at the houses past the bushes. I don't think BOKSA did that at any point. But, we still got 3 rounds to go. If you drop a point, then all the, close pinpoints in the end are meaningless.
Indeed, as we'll get into round number 3, and welcome to Germany.
Yep.
Yeah. Right to privacy means we get strange buildings blurred out. Did that say Bonn? They both covered it up. Bonn. They both covered it up very, very fast. Again, not too far from our last location. The Mazda dealership just to our west will give us a bit of a help.
Yep. I also just realized I was having, usually a bit of background for how we're recording this. Zotomo shares his screen in Zoom, and I look at it to click start on my round as well, so I don't have any lag while watching it. But I realized about 30 seconds ago that I wasn't having Zoom up on my second monitor. I was having OBS up, so I couldn't actually tell when you started the round. I was really confused because you actually, like you said, go, and I was looking, and it's not starting, and then I clicked, and then I was like, oh, now we started. Good timing. Good timing that OBS showed me when I started the round. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I figured it out. It's not a difficult round here either.
Yeah, the hardest thing about recording these videos is that we're watching 2 videos at the same time in really small boxes and trying to read all the details and everything. We don't get the nice big, HD 4K screen to play this as the 2 players do. So sometimes they do catch clues that we don't quite catch. There's a few little neighborhood names there for Raidman.
Yep. Would be helpful.
But it looks like Bucks has already got the street, so don't have to worry about that too much. Perfect. Street, and again, a pretty early guess by BOKSA, but 5 more meters off of his perfect game will creep his total distance off into the double digits. Yeah, again, not really taking full advantage of that, but, you know, is it really worth it? A few meters? Who knows?
Well, it's always, as I always say, the case of, you can only get so close for yourself. And, sometimes that's just 5 meters away. Sometimes it's 2 meters away. And you're not going to get closer by looking at the houses for another minute.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, within about 5 meters is the margin of error of street view. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you're 5 meters away, you're pretty much as close as you can get without a bit of just luck in the terms of the pin placements for the actual locations.
Yeah, there are definitely like locations that are more accurate than, within a 5 meter margin.
Sure.
But yeah, you can't really ever be sure. On average, I'd say the closer you get to the right location in reality, the closer you're going to be in Geoguessr as well.
Yep. Especially European countries aren't going to have that problem pop up too much, but only 1 meter again for Raidman means he's at 4 total to BOKSA's 14. So he's got quite a bit of an advantage as long as no points are dropped. We're still all tied up after 3. Yeah, Germany kind of being what we should expect, right? Pretty easy, lots of nice signs. Not throwing anything too crazy at our competitors so far.
Yeah, I think the seed so far is even easier than it was last season, where it had at least like a small curveball, I think I remember, with Ludwigshafen in there, which doesn't stand out quite as much on the map.
Well, then let's jump into round number 4 and another city.
What a surprise, another city.
What a surprise. And would you be surprised if it was in the Ruhrgebiet again? Slightly a
I wouldn't
bit
be
of a dead
majorly
end.
surprised.
Nope,
it isn't actually a dead end. You can go past it.
Click. Raidman does manage to get out of that. But again, lots of good street signs near the spawn means that once they do figure out where they are, can get to pinpointing.
That sign might actually say something for BOKSA. Apparently it did.
Yeah, apparently
I couldn't quite read it.
Spawn again. At least he feels like we are initially. Still got 2 minutes to go, so he can always change his mind. Proving a little bit tougher in the sense that we just haven't gotten a city name off the start. They have to actually travel and find it.
I think from what we just saw there of Raidman, it's actually an interesting point that rarely comes up, I feel, where, how much knowing a language plays into it. Because usually, like, knowing a language, most of the time doesn't help you with finding information. It mostly helps you with ignoring not important information. Because if you're looking at a sign, if you can read the language and understand it well, then you can see, okay, these are all normal words. They're not city names. They're not suburb names. If you've got no idea about the language, you might be looking at that sign for a lot longer, trying to figure out if any of this is useful information.
Raidman also thinking we are somewhere near Bonn. Signs may be pointing at. At least Algeria didn't distract him on the construction sign. Both of our two competitors.
It says Allegria as well. So.
Oh, Allegria, sorry. Raidman going back to the start. BOKSA almost in the exact same spot.
BOKSA's found the suburb. Godesberg.
I think Raidman has as well.
Needs to go a bit further north because it said Godesberg Nord on the sign for BOKSA.
There we go.
There we go.
Now down to pinpointing. 30 seconds left. This is probably the closest it has been in the sense that they have quite a bit to do still with only about 20 seconds left to go. Like Raidman's honed in on it. Having a little bit trouble with his movement. Has to double check. Somewhere in here looks good. This might be the one.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Not quite enough time. Both of them frantically going to the last second, and it will cost Raidman 2 points, 42 meters, only 25 for BOKSA. So he was literally just on that edge of another perfect round. Now, Calamity meters are worthless because BOKSA has a 1 point lead. I think that's how much he won Germany by last time. Looks
Yep.
like it's going to happen like this unless we get a real big curveball in round number 5.
And I take the lead. Yeah, it's definitely probably could already be the decider. It feels like Raidman had more than enough time to pinpoint that and just somehow made a mistake there. Boxer running a lot closer. He was just generally running out of time and didn't have the opportunity anymore to pinpoint it. Yeah, but small mistakes by both of them, I guess, and just Raidman's a bit worse.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
could
we'll
really
see.
see that they both had the wrong Southern Street intersection as the kind of reference point. They were one too far to the right, and then Boxa sort of realized that towards the very end. I think Raidman also, then just not enough time to actually move that pin. And then that cost them a single point for Boxa and 2 points for Raidman. So, yeah, they'll both spend a little bit of time, considering how much they usually spend in between rounds, double checking how that went to make sure they don't repeat that mistake. As we will jump into round number 5, 19,999 for Boxa, 19,998, a single point separating them in this final round.
Now it's all about whether they can find the right place. And that's a useful sign, Gelsenkirchen. That would have been great when I played that seat if I'd gone that direction, because I can tell you the other direction has absolutely nothing.
And Box has got the town from that, and so does Raidman. So we'll see.
Yeah, with all that information, if you can triangulate very well, that should be more than enough to help you. We'll see. You've got Kai on there, which is apparently 5.4 kilometers away, which is on Box's screen right there. The center of Gelsenkirchen is 4.4, so he's probably about halfway between those.
Yeah, especially with these players, top level championship final, triangulation shouldn't be too big of a challenge for them. Be more surprised if they don't do it. Raidman is going to travel a bit. This movement bug is definitely lots of fun.
Yep.
I have noticed that if I click closer, that I still move smoothly. I just can't jump as far with each click anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just that habit of, in the past, you could just click way off in the distance and you have to adjust your click distance to move more smoothly, and it's quite annoying.
Certainly. Yeah, it's usually in cities it's not that big of an issue because, there's houses and things like that all around you anyway, so you can't click that far in the distance. But it is really annoying in more rural maps when you're on like just something like in the UK, in the middle of nowhere, in a very rural. Yeah, I guess, but Alaska is kind of not that much of an issue, I feel like, because at least you like see far into the distance and there's no information there anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
That's the other extreme of rural where you just realize traveling is not going to help you.
In something like the UK where you've got like 17 corners that you have to go past and you feel like the next thing could be behind every corner, it's a lot more annoying to me personally. But it looks like both of them have found the right streets and are actually at the right, well, I don't know if it's the right house, but they're at the same house.
Yeah, so at least if they do get it wrong, they'll both be equally wrong as we get into the final 20 seconds of game number 1. Raidman hoping for a miracle here.
And he won't be
And he won't be getting that. An ace for Boxa means only 1 point drop, 24,999, and only 2 points dropped for Raidman. Sees us head into game number 2 with Boxa taking his math pick, but kind of to be expected, an exact repeat of last season in Germany, Calamity.
Yeah, it basically all came down to that one round, which is a bit of an annoying one as well for Raidman because he did have more time to pinpoint there for sure and just messed it up slightly. So he could have definitely won that game. But yeah, at the end of the day, as you said, it's a repeat of last season. 1 point lost too much by Raidman there. He would have been closer in terms of distance, of course. But as I said after round 3, I think if you drop more points, distance is not going to matter.
Yeah, a bit of a rounding error. I think BOKSA will feel a little bit cheated that he could have gotten a perfect game on this one because he was exactly the distance away from that perfect, right? You get 25 meters of leeway,
Well,
roughly.
it's roughly, yeah, it's not
Yeah,
25 meters. It's like 24 point something, or
yeah.
it might be 25 point something.
So
Um,
yeah, very, very close. So even closer, even a bigger gap than it would might seem with only 1 point. BOKSA on the cusp of a perfect game. So thank you all for watching that one. We will be right back with game number 2 after this quick break. Well, welcome back, everyone. We are all set up for our game 2 of this 3-game grand final between BOKSA and Raidman. Raidman, again, looking to defend his Season 3 title here in Season 4. BOKSA out for revenge in a repeat of last season. Germany was how it went last season. BOKSA taking the map with a 1-point win. And we actually have a bit of a change. Instead of Singapore for game number 2, Raidman has decided to go with Lower Silesia on this one. Now, knowing he is down, he has to win this. Do you think this is a good choice of map to make sure you guarantee a win?
uh, I don't think it's a good choice to guarantee a win, but I think it's a decent choice to give yourself a good chance of it. Because, to guarantee, I mean, you can never really guarantee a win, but the ideal map for a guaranteed win is something that is extremely difficult, but you are very good at. So something like, I don't know, if you're Indonesian, you pick Indonesia. Or if you're from Bangladesh, you pick Bangladesh. Something like that is almost a guaranteed win because your opponent is also going to have a really tough time, like as a bonus to you yourself doing very well. Whereas this is kind of like you yourself are probably going to do very well, but your opponent also might because it's a very easy like map to play. I definitely think just based on the map, it's an improvement on Singapore. Um, just because, as I mentioned earlier, might be a bit more difficult to pinpoint, which Raidman himself is well known for at this point. But yeah, as you showed at the start as well, BOKSA had more aces this season, so also not to be underestimated there.
Let's not keep you waiting any longer and just jump right into game number 2 and round number 1 in Lower Silesia in Poland. And a nice Polish road to start out with, plenty of traffic and some road signs in the near distance.
Yep.
And
and Jelenia Gora.
there we go, BOKSA already. Zooming in on that, and the town name right behind you.
Auschhof. Yeah.
Too tricky. BOKSA will turn around as well, head into town and catch that. So a little bit behind Raidman, but the exact same maneuver.
Yep. Again, just it shows you how easy Lower Silesia is. There's plenty of signs here, and even if you wouldn't have that sign with the distance, you probably could have still found the town. And there's probably like in town or past the town, there's going to be more signs as well. So it's just about pinpointing here.
Pinpoint here. So there is that church in the distance, with both of them seem to be trying to judge exactly where they are. And BOKSA is not going to fool around. An ace 1 meter away. There's a little bit of a spoil to where Raidman will guess. But again, not using all his time at all. Straightforward, just off that house. You can see Raidman pointing to, and there we go, 1 meter away from him as well. So we're tied not only on points in this first round, but on meters as well. But yeah, a bit of a taste of how easy this map could be for us, Calamity.
Yeah, definitely. And you also mentioned earlier about how, Raidman has to win this map, but we see here again that BOKSA played after Raidman, so he doesn't actually know that. I mean, you can sort of assume, he dropped 2 points in Germany against BOKSA, might be necessary for him to win his home state, I guess, if he wants to get to a third map. But he doesn't know that for sure. Maybe BOKSA would have dropped more points.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where you're not live. It's not a head-to-head. You're not seeing how your opponent does. But I think in something like this, grand finals, you've got to assume your opponent 25K'd their own map, and you know you're down 2 points. You've got to come back. Yeah, he actually is a little bit luckier in the sense that he only lost by 1 point, but a loss is a loss, and so you have to assume that you're going into this one trying to come back from that. So we will get into round number 2 here, and another little town and a nice tourist sign, which Raidman knows right away. But a town entrance sign as well for BOKSA means he will be able to just scan and find it.
Yep.
I do see one advantage maybe in this for Raidman in the sense that he could 25K this map and it would take him a quarter of the time of Singapore. Like, he is going really fast in this, and so maybe it's a quick map. I'll give my shot at 25K, switch it up a bit, and maybe save some mental power for map 3 if it comes to it.
I mean, I guess it kind of depends a bit on the seed in Singapore as well. I definitely think Singapore, back when I did my practice sessions for when we had it this season in Red League, most of my games, sort of towards the end of it, were between like 5 to 8 minutes as well. So I definitely think it's probably not that much quicker in Lower Silesia if you actually really pay attention to pinpointing. But yeah, if Raidman was just to play it as BOKSA's guest, 19 meters away. Ooh.
Ooh.
But yeah, if you don't pay attention to pinpointing and you're just like, round about there, then Raidman could probably finish the map in like 3 minutes.
Yep, and we can already see that Raidman is slightly closer. And he will guess another 1 meter guess away and another perfect round for him. So both of them not even using the full, not even 2 minutes of the clock. And again, we can see that Raidman's pinpointing definitely showing up here. That those meters are very few and far between for him, while BOKSA is really taking a more lackadaisical approach, at least to these distances, and hoping that points are dropped is really kind of BOKSA's approach here. I think we can see for sure.
Yep.
We will just jump right in then to round number 3. See how things go. And another town, and we had 2 town entrances, and this time we're a little bit more in town.
Yep. Could at least provide, well, as BOKSA already found a sign.
There we go.
It at least provides like the sort of extra challenge of having to figure out which city or town you're in. Not just being like, oh, hey, there's the town entrance sign. But it does also tell you, as Raidman is showing there, it tells you on the house number sign which city it is.
This one, Raidman does know. BOKSA is going to have to do the math on this. Hasn't quite picked up on that town name on that house number quite yet. Focused on that sign, but he's got the road. He's got some neighboring towns. Shouldn't be too hard. As he approaches it from the south, there we go. Yeah, so 2 different ways to the same location. And already only about a minute gone, and we're looking at 2 more aces here. Calamity.
Well, not quite yet. BOKSA's in the right city so far, but still needs to pinpoint it. Raidman's already at that stage.
Fine, takes a look at that house number. That will confirm the town he's in. Probably a street name as well, from the looks of it.
Yeah, Raidman really taking care of that pinpointing.
Yeah. Those meters are his friends. They saved him last season, gave him a shot at map 3, which he came back to win. So definitely knows that's what it's going to take out Fox an opponent like BOKSA.
BOKSA's found the right street as well now. I don't know why he's not clicking on it yet, but
Yeah, he's got the street there, and it's on his map.
Yep.
There we go. And 0 meters for Raidman. So Lower Silesia looking to be a great pick for him after 3 rounds. Only 2 total meters off with 3 aces. So a really excellent performance here in map number 2. BOKSA struggling a bit. He's getting there, but definitely cutting it a lot closer than Raidman.
He's got 10 more seconds.
Yeah. I realize he's a little bit further north. Again, probably enough for the ace, but those distances do add up. And sure enough, an ace and 15 meters. So, yeah, BOKSA into the over 30 meters off, 35 total meters off now after 3 rounds. I can do math, Clemity. I've been practicing for the final. So, yeah, all those sums paying off in this one. But yeah, perfect round so far. And into round number 4. So I don't know. Raidman definitely able to do well on this, but it hasn't proven to be really a challenge for BOKSA either.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the same thing as in map 1. If you drop a point, then the distance doesn't matter. But so far, Raidman hasn't really looked like dropping a point. So we'll see. There's 2 more rounds.
2 more rounds. 6 more minutes of game. And slightly more rural, but again, another good sign. Not too far. We'll give Raidman the nearby town.
Yeah, definitely not a challenge in finding out the general location, but this might be a bit more difficult to pinpoint because similarly to, I think it was round 2 in Germany, there's no immediate point of reference next to you. You're sort of on a road close by.
Between 2 major cities off of the 15. Already not even a minute in, and they're both on the same stretch. And what was that? That was a misclick. Raidman guesses really quick and way down the road, dropping 23 points with that one. We might have to go back and see what happened there. On that, we'll wait and see how BOKSA plays this out, but that's a huge opening.
Yeah, definitely. That opens the door wide open. There is like a small pathway there, but sometimes those are on a map. In this case, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it looks like, did Raidman just pick the wrong path? A little bit too sure of it. And he will look at that and think it is Christmas. Holy cow, he gets only 3 meters off. An ace for that one. He can see where Raidman guessed. Yeah, let's do a little bit of a replay here. Let's go back and watch these last few seconds. And did he just click off the map and click on the guess instead of the map? It looks like he meant to click. I don't know. That looks like a guess to me, and just a very bad guess. Yeah, really uncharacteristic of Raidman, and leaves it wide open for BOKSA to take it in 2, going into our final round, Calamity. What do you have to say about
BOKSA.
that?
Well, GG, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that, BOKSA now knows as well, because he was the one who played later, that yeah, he needs to get if he gets a 5k, distance doesn't matter anymore. So he's just 1 round away from winning his first Reddit League.
Yeah, we'll see. Between last season and this season, BOKSA has taken a couple other championship crowns across the Geoguessr community, and it looks like he is all set in this final round to add Reddit League to that ever-growing trophy cabinet. And with an easy round like this, plenty of signs. I mean, he only has to drop 23 points, so as you can see, it's only 1 road off we saw in the last one, so even being in the area is not going to be good enough. But
yeah, he still can't afford any mistakes, but if he does get the pinpoint right, and he's got it, well, Raidman's already there.
Yeah, Raidman's got that nice point of interest, nice little villa.
Mm-hmm.
Off the road, pretty much directly to his west. In less than a minute, he will limply guess that final round and seal his ace, which means it is all now down to BOKSA with 2 minutes. Who is going to go a bit afield here, trying to figure out where he is.
Mm-hmm. There is a town entrance sign.
He knows the road already. There's the town. See if he can spot that point of interest. He hasn't looked at it yet. Oh, there we go. What's that?
Oh.
There we go. That looks nice. And he's probably grinning ear to ear right now, thinking, whew, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
See how much of this last minute he ends up trying to use. I would be a little scared. Like, is it really this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to drop any points now. And he does not. Yeah. A perfect game from him there. Quite a few meters off Calamity, but no points dropped means he takes game 2. And our first 2-0 champion, to say the least. And Raidman not able to repeat with a very uncourteous guess in round number 4. So yeah, congrats to BOKSA on that one. And we keep the streak alive, a new winner every season, Calamity.
Yep, next season it's going to be me. It's not going to be me. You can dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Fourth season, 4th winner. Pretty nice to have a bit of a change up as well. Though it has now been Raidman against BOKSA twice in a row, so a new finalist would be nice next season.
And there we go. We are recording these, of course, after the players have played them and they've had some time to reflect and think back on them. Have there been any comments from these two on how these games went? And Raidman's thoughts maybe on that round 4.
Yes, there have been. And if you want to hear them, go watch the Reddit League show of week 13.
There we go. Nice advertisement, Calamity.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, so definitely check out the Reddit League show for week 13. We walk through these rounds and the locations, how they did, as well as the players' comments, and some changes coming for Season 5 as our new chairman, Calamity himself, goes through some things he's thinking about for that. So definitely check out that video. And yeah, hit that subscribe button because we got another season coming at you in just a few months. But even before then, we've got some award shows, some great clip videos coming your way, so you won't want to miss those. We will see you in the next season. Take care.
Bye.